Hello everybody, this is Pete from PA Labs. Got all my new equipment online and just about everything, I guess, where it needs to be. So I want to give y'all an update on the war game. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and fire this up. Let's see here. I've been mostly working on combat, which I'm, to be honest with you, not particularly pleased with. I love all the new concept units. These new units now, virtually the entire unit is written, all of the text and numbers and everything is written in code. So that's all just print statements and all of that kind of stuff. So it's done on the fly. So as units take hits and lose quantity, all the numbers and stuff will all change on them. So I lightened up the gray a bit. And to give you a quick show of combat, let's see, I have to bring up the allies real quick. And boy, I like not having to have to wait on screens. Let's see. Go ahead and connect in. And I'll drag this off to the side. There we go. Get that out of the way. So our first phase is bombing. And this has been kind of a nightmare to get all worked out, but it has worked out pretty nicely. So we'll start by selecting airstrips. By clicking the airstrip, you get to see the units that are in the airstrip, and we'll take combat and go ahead and pick our target. Now, any other units that I select, you're only allowed to have one combat at a time. So you don't draw that one to go in, it just automatically goes there until you're done picking units to be involved in this fight. So now you can see over here that the combat panel has kicked out, and you have 2 bombers and 2 fighters that are attacking this airstrip. It's about the only airstrip I think I can hit on the allies. So when I'm done picking my attack, I can commit my troops, commit the assault, and then it shows up over here on the allied side, and they can see where the units are coming from. Now, on the units themselves for planes, a plane has a range of 8, so he can travel 8 hexes to get to a target, and when the combat's over, he returns back to where he came from. Okay, so that is you don't have to return them or do any of that. I haven't begun to work on other units other than all of the different planes and whatnot. So at this point, the French are just going to scramble the fighters that are in that airstrip for its defense. So they got 2 fighters that are coming up, and they're going to commit their forces. And let me get the French screens out of the way, and we can jump back to the German screens. So now Germany, we're sitting here at the combat location, and we can select our planes that we're going to bring into the attack. And we're going to do, since Germany is attacking with 2, that would mean that the French, if they have 2 squadrons, must counter with 2 squadrons. All right? So when I hit commit to my attack, play moves over to the French, and then the French will do the same thing. Oh, here, I'll bring it over. And the French will say, okay, bring these guys in, and we'll bring those guys in as our counter, and get rid of that. And so combat's over virtually instantaneously and currently in code. But of course it'll slow down and we'll have sound effects and I don't know, some sort of special effects going on. And it kicks back what the losses are. So the defenders kind of got pretty well hammered that time. Now, these show up as being X'd out. They have 0 movement, and they are done for the rest of the combat phase. Here's one of my first bugs that I have in this. And the way I designed it, it's a real booger to try to get fixed, so I think I'm going to redesign it. That's why I'm going to rewrite it. This is one of them. See that? It all of a sudden created 2 new bombers, and it got rid of the flagging and put them back to 8s in movement. So that's just all kind of wrong. Now, about 80% of the time when... let's see, let's go ahead and commit this and then play moves to the French. They have nothing to really counter with, so they just hit OK. And this resolution, look at that, it went back to having these fixed, but it didn't flag these guys because it's really wanting to have other planes to fight other planes. So there's a issue here that still needs resolving. But so anyhow, what we'll do is kill out of this, and the combat's over. He did realize that combat was over and redo the screen for us. So that's the concept that I have for fighters. It's got to get rewritten. I'm not satisfied with it, so nobody else should be. So we do have, and we can jump to, yes, I know. We're going to jump through some of the phases here. And now they're kicking it back to me. The phase is artillery. We're done with the artillery. I don't want to mess with artillery. I want to get to movement. Yes, I know. Some of these may end up going away. A lot of it's there just almost as a debug sort of thing. So you finish. Yes, come on. There we go. Now we're on movement. Okay, so we had to iterate 2 steps. Okay, now movement works very nicely. You select your unit, and presto, you can move them right on in. This works, like I said, very nicely. We'll bring him around to the south. It works good here. Let's see. Notice that both of these are selected. So we can move them and move them in here. Since I popped up next to this Belgian unit, I now know what that Belgian unit is. So now we're going to move the tanks in. Whoops, I can't fire. I have to move. So I can move them in here. And we will go ahead and move these guys there. And so we're getting close to, let's see, I don't want the anti-aircraft moved. I want the tank moved. And let's see, I think, nope, you're all anti-aircraft. Okay. I thought I had another one over here. Cancel. Okay, maybe you can reach. Nah, you're not going to reach. Okay, so anyhow, all right. Have to look at units, I guess. Oh, here's armor or artillery. We can move them in there. Okay, so he's got 2 units. So then, as you can see, movement is fully operational. And then we would go to the combat. Combat's going to work pretty much exactly like the other, in that you'll select your units. You can choose both of them, and then select your target. It's going to draw the lines and the little explosion and everything. and then when you're ready to commit your attack, then it will go to the combat screen, and all the units will be presented there for you to actually engage. So you can lead with your armored units against the infantry, and then bring in your infantry to mop up, that kind of thing. So that is the overall look at the game as it sits today. Like I said, I'm going to be rewriting combat and get that cleaned up in the next couple days. It's been a lot of work on that to try to get it figured out and to get it designed properly. And then the redesigning of units. You may notice that I've gone through, and the units now have many more images. Let's see if I can bring one of these up for you real quick. I'll show you the sprite sheets. That's kind of cool. Images, units. Okay. So let's not do the flat. Let's go to the okay. So here's the various units. So I've been out looking at all kinds of units. A little double tail. I actually had to manufacture this plane. It's got the wings of the B-52 or the Fortress, and then I stole those from another picture. So we have the French, what was it called, Renault tank. We have a Grant. We have Nazi tanks. The first two images the first three are the default images. And then as you add players to the game, and this is nations underneath opponents, then the exact order of these players is the order that the sprite sheet gets built. So he knows to grab, he looks to see if units are here. If it's null, then he grabs these guys. If it's existing, then it grabs these guys. So I changed the unknown units to cubes. I like that idea. So I don't have a whole lot of change on the naval units. Navy units are pretty much Navy units. I did get a great image. That's an actual image of a Dauntless or Stuka dive bomber during the war that I was actually able to grab a picture of and bring it back and bring it into the game. So get it sized and get it to look right. So we have the Messerschmitts, we have the French fighters, we have what are those, Spitfires, and then we have Allied troops, German troops, and French troops. So pretty much I updated all the older vessels, ships of sail and whatnot for the Revolutionary and American Civil War sort of era. So yeah, that was all updated as well. That's believe it or not, that's a whole lot of time. And I have a bunch more. I have Italian, and I have Japanese Zeros, and I have Japanese troops, Japanese tanks, Russian fighters, Russian infantry, Russian tanks. Yeah, I spent like, I don't know, 2 solid days, day and a half looking up units and stuff like that. And then getting them back and getting them sized and getting them into the game. And then configuring it all to be linked up. So anyhow, that's the end of this video, and I want to thank you all for watching.